What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Trey the Brute Daniels. I'm here with another episode of the Indie Corner, where I sit down with everybody from the independent communities, writers, artists, directors, producers. Doesn't matter if you're in the game, I want to talk to you. And today I have a returning guest, and I love my returning guest. He is the artist and co-creator of APOLLYON 20XX, here to talk about his Indiegogo campaign. Give it up, everybody, for Joshua Adams.
Man, it's good to be back. Good to see you again. Good to talk to you again. Good to be seen.
Absolutely.
It's been a minute.
It's been a good long while. How are things been going, my friend?
Man, it's good. It's been an interesting year for me, man. Like professionally, it's been an interesting year. Kind of one of those years of transitions and change, and so it's been good. It's new stuff.
Tremendous.
It's new stuff. So
Tremendous.
It's been dope.
And like growth is always fun, but sometimes it's going to be some pain along with it. But
yeah, there's some of that figuring things out that happens, but yeah, man, it's been great. It's been great. It's been a good year.
So since the last time we talked, you and your partner were just kicking off the APOLLYON 20XX arc. Now, as I've been informed, you got the trade paperback coming, and the Indiegogo is currently live. So break it down to us. What do we got in store?
Last time we talked, we had the Ash Can out, and that was like 6 pages, I think. Just a really short intro to the world. We did that through Legacy Comics. That was good. That was that got in a bunch of people's hands. We did some signings, and that was really dope. But we're self-publishing our first actual full-length volume. We skipped the whole one issue at a time thing and did it the hard way. But yeah, it's about 175 pages of work. Is the hardest I've ever worked on anything in my entire life. And it's gone through, we went through several different waves of edits and looking at something and saying, nope, that's not quite right. Let me draw that again. Let me draw it, to get it to be something I'm really, really proud of. So this is, people who watched the first time we were on here may remember, it's part of a much larger storyline called the Godfoe universe.
Yes.
We had a timeline that spans thousands of years. APOLLYON 20XX is the beginning of that timeline. So you're going to get a really good, if you back this on Indiegogo and you get this first book, you're going to get a really good in-depth introduction to the world. And, I'm sure we'll get into what's next because there's a lot that's coming next. But yeah, for right now, that's like the main thing to say is that we finished that first volume. Took longer than I thought, but then again, I've never made a 175-page book before. So. Yeah,
and that is definitely not the traditional way of doing things. Like I myself released 8 floppies and am currently running the trade paperback now, which is 242 pages, because God knows I hate myself. But to go that route, why did y'all decide to do that instead of doing the floppies?
Well, a big piece of it was we like the old graphic novels, that we used to get back in the 80s, early 90s. We like that type of writing. A lot of the comics that are coming out now, so much of it is, by the time you'll get like 9-10 pages of story, then you get ads, and then a little half of a story at the end.
Yeah.
And, there's barely any dialogue in the whole thing. And, when we sat down and we came up with this story, we knew it's character driven, it's very thematic, and there was no way that people could dive in and enjoy this one little section of it divorced of all the rest of that story. In context, chapter 1 by itself probably wouldn't be the best read if we didn't have what was coming next. And so we we tossed it around. We considered the idea of doing individual issues, and at the end of the day we thought, and Daniel, who is the co-creator, he and I are both big manga fans. It's part of the reason why the book is black and white.
Yeah.
But you pick up a volume and you read that whole arc. And that's just kind of what we wanted this to feel like. We wanted people to feel like they're getting a complete arc of a story. They're not going to be left hanging. It's not going to be 2 years before you get issue 2.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting that whole arc right now. And it just, to me and to Dan, as we looked at it, flows better just being able to read that whole story. It just flows better. Yeah. And, you know, we're living in the Netflix era when you can binge a whole season. You know, like, just kind of, we just want people to be able to plug in and unplug from the world for a while and read a good self-contained story that finishes its arc and then heads to something new and bigger.
And that's actually pretty smart, especially with today's market, because those of us that are old school traditionalists that's been around forever and a day, we remember being excited going to your local comic shop every 2 weeks to pick up the next issue and all that great stuff. But unfortunately, we have to live in the reality that those days are done. Like, it's not really as feasible as it once was back when we were kids and all other stuff. So it's
not happening that way anymore, especially for indie. Especially for indie guys. But even the big even the big company guys, if you can find something from them that's worth reading, like oops. But like, if you can find a good story from them, who knows how many months it's going to be delayed before you get the next one. And you know, and by the time you get that next one, they've switched artists and it looks terrible now. Or, you know, like, it just, or they introduce something and then they never pay off on it. It's frustrating, and we wanted people to be able to, like, if we're asking you to spend your money, because I know how big of an ask that is. Like, to ask them, hey, invest in what I've created. If I'm going to do that, you know, I want it to be worth your time and your money.
Agreed.
And then the flip side of that too is, if we're going to do a signing or we go to a con and you know, we're setting up our table and, you know, there's some big dick energy involved in being able to drop a big brick on the table and say, all right, here's the first step. Like, you know, getting to drop something that big and meaty on the table is nice.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's nothing better than a thick book right in somebody's hands. I agree. I could not agree more. And I like the way that you all are prioritizing quality over quantity. I can definitely respect that, especially from like mainstream comics. We already know that they're all pretty much in the gutter at this point, and indies is the only thing that's still telling good stories. So that's the reality of the situation that we're in anyway. So you guys capitalizing on that is actually a very smart move. So speaking of go ahead, Josh. Please.
No, well, what I was going to say, you said, you know, about good story. One of the things that Dan and I love about the way we built our world here is we understand that plot is not the same thing as story.
It is not.
And a lot of the modern comics, that's all they have is, this is the plot. This is the random character that has no actual development. You know, to me, plot is just what gets everything moving, but the story is those characters and how they interact and how they change over the course of their journey, and where does this take them. That story. And you know, to be able to offer people something more than just plot and cookie cutter characters is, I want them to feel the same way I felt when I got that first like gatefold issue 1 of X-Men that Jim Lee had. You know, like, I want them to open up a book and say, every page of this looks dope. There's actual character development. There's actually stuff to read in here. It's not just a bunch of pictures and then I'm done. Yeah. It's not a golden book for children. It's an actual graphic novel.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what inspired me so much as a kid. I loved that stuff. I loved reading Sandman or Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, and you get that big fat trade paperback and read it 100,000 times until it fell apart. That's what I want people to do with this, man. I agree, and I think that mentality and that way of doing things is what should be happening everywhere, in my personal opinion. I think it should be happening all over the place, but we don't live in that world. But to see that you guys are going that angle is tremendous. It's tremendous. So, Josh, so we got the Indiegogo. It's firing up already. It's going off in all cylinders. Tell me about the perks. Tell me about what's going down on that puppy. So right now, our initial goal, we're actually doing pretty well, pretty quickly. I've been impressed, honestly, at how generous people have been, we're already, I think, close to 70%
Excellent.
of
That's
that
excellent.
of that initial goal. Right now, perk wise, we just have the digital cap package, physical package, and then like the whole shebang that's got some of our online content in a PDF format, things like that. But what we're hoping to do is go into some stretch goals, and I'm going to
Okay.
offer some some original artwork that like just limited, just one of a kind artwork, some signed prints, things like that. And if it continues going and we're able to add more to it, I've thought about doing some stuff like maybe trading cards of characters and
Okay.
things like that. There's some other things we've been tossing around, but for right now, it's our first campaign. We don't want to get in over our heads.
Yeah, I understand that.
So I know that a lot of campaigns, they throw so many perks in there that they end up kind of losing money because they're trying to make a bunch of T-shirts and a bunch of toys and figures that are never going to sell.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that. I don't want to go campaign broke, but it doesn't cost me anything other than time and effort to make some original artwork. So that's probably when we go into stretch goals, that's what you'll see is some of that original artwork, stuff like that popping up.
That's excellent. That is excellent. I like to hear that.
We're trying to keep it simple for right now. I don't want to do a bunch of variant covers and we're trying to really to keep it simple and straightforward because again, we've never done this before, so this is a new journey for us.
Nice. And I think that's the best way to do it because I myself have launched my first. Oh my goodness, frog in my throat. I myself will also launch my first Indiegogo ever in my career, which is new for me, and it's a heck of an experience. I'll tell you that. It's a heck of an experience, especially after funding all my own work for many years.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing this trade. I'm like, yo, let's see what the people say. So the way you guys are going about it, I think you're gonna do really well. And I've checked out the Indiegogo. I myself have backed it, so everybody check that out because if I put my seal of approval, that I'm all in. So, and to see all the work that you guys have put into it and all the love and passion that you have behind it, most importantly, in my personal opinion, the love and passion you put behind your work, like you eloquently put, there's a difference between plot and story. There's a huge difference. And the fact that I've seen your work, I've gone through your work and all that stuff, and there's definitely a difference between the two of them. And I can honestly say that I really enjoyed your writing. I really enjoyed your work. And for those that will be checking this out, I will be dropping my review of APOLLYON 20XX this Friday. I will be dropping my review this Friday. Absolutely.
We appreciate that so much, man.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just excited to get that feedback too, because like you keep your baby like right here, and then you finally give somebody a peek of the baby, and you're like, what if they think my baby's ugly? What if they think it looks like me? But like, baby, your baby don't quite look right, cross-eyed.
Not every baby is cute, but I'll give y'all credit this time. This baby was actually worth looking at and carrying in my arms.
Nice.
So that was actually worth it. So I look forward to dropping that and to give another push to you guys, the great work that you guys are doing. So
appreciate it.
So Josh, look, I'm excited for this Indiegogo. I'm gonna make sure everybody that I come in contact with is excited for your Indiegogo. So where can other folks reach out to you? How can they get in touch with you? How else can they reach you?
Well, I mean, if you put in Godfo Universe, just about anywhere you'll find us. We have godfouniverse.com. You'll find short film. There's another short film coming, hopefully by the end of this year or at least early next year. You'll find a lot of stuff on our website, our mailing list, all that stuff. I'm easy to find on Facebook. We have a Godfo Universe Facebook group where you can just look up Josh Adams. You can find me and Dan, or just Godfo Universe itself on Twitter or X.
Yeah,
X gonna give it to you.
Oh yeah. I missed
or
on
yeah, dude, man. I'm about to chase that rabbit. I'll come back to that rabbit. But like, you can find us on Instagram. We're pretty easy to find. But yeah, going back to DMX and missing that dude. His that I guess it was posthumous when it came out. His prayers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it made me cry. I wept, man.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was deep.
Beautiful. What a beautiful soul he had, man.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I know that has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but like, there was depth to that dude that a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people didn't see until he was gone, man.
Yeah.
He was a real one.
Yeah, he was. He
He was
was.
a real one.
Don't get me emotional, Josh. Don't you do it. Don't you do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Sorry.
Don't you do this to
We're
me.
men. We don't feel stuff. We have no feelings. Look at that. Suck it up. Look at that tear come back in. But no, like I'm excited about Treble, man. I think I backed you, and then it looked like the bank kicked it back to me for some reason. So I'm gonna go back on and make sure that I did. I got the little happy dog, but then I don't think it went through. So I'm gonna make sure that it went through. But I'm excited about Treble, man. So that's the trade is what you're pushing right now, right?
Oh yeah. So the trade.
That's what I thought. I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, man. So yeah, a lot of heart and soul.
I gotta do you some fan art or some variant cover or something.
Josh, whatever you want to do, I'm down. You ain't got to tell me. You don't need my permission. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Go for it.
Yeah, I gotta hook you up, man.
Yeah, go nuts. Go nuts. I would love to see it. I love to see the fandom and all that other great stuff. But Josh, this has been tremendous hanging out with you, sharing your passion, sharing your work, sharing your Indiegogo with me, and all the great work that you guys are doing over there at the Godful Universe. Tremendous stuff, tremendous stuff. From the bottom of my cold, dark heart, I appreciate you being here and sharing all this stuff with me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure is absolutely mine. So everybody, that is Josh Adams, and who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I'm Dre. The Brute Dance. Follow me on my dope social media platforms that you see right there under my face. They're not there yet, but they will be at The Brute00 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and if I'm feeling silly, on TikTok. And also check out my Indiegogo. I will also leave that in the description section below. You got 2 Indiegogos to support everybody. 2 of them. They'll be both down there. So as always, you guys have been fantastic. This has been the Indie Corner. I'll catch you all next time.